good afternoon on this lovely July 26th, 2026 edition of our show. We are all here in the other hood, and this is Melvin Flynn. I'm here with Nikki and Sonia and Cranston and James and Otto. And today we're going to be talking about who sold out soul and who brought it back. So we get started as usual with the talk about the weather. Nikki, you are top center. How is the weather in sunny South Florida?
It is 93, 91 degrees, and it is cloudy. We're going to be getting some rain in a few minutes.
Excellent. Because I know you're going to need it with it being 91 degrees. So, yeah, enjoy your new
Yes.
rain. And Sonia, how's the weather up in upstate New York?
Right now, it's beautiful. It's 81 degrees, feels like about 84-ish, a little hotter. We had downpours yesterday and on Friday. So today is the day between where it's nice and then it goes right back down.
Well, I
Starts
like,
heading back down so that we are back in rainstorms all Tuesday and Wednesday all day.
oh, well, I
So we
don't.
are on the up cycle right now. And
Okay, well, good. So you're getting some clear skies and getting out
yeah,
in it?
right now.
Right, excellent. All right.
It's kind of
And
like the weather we used to have in Tallahassee, where it's raining now. Just wait 5 minutes.
yeah, okay, all right, gotcha. And how about you, James? We missed you last week or so with the smoke from Canada coming down into New York. It's got
Ooh. No, right now it's 82 degrees. It's a nice, dry, hot, much
nice.
better than last week. Because last week here in New York, we were getting everything from the Canadian smoke to humidity to triple digit weather. Um,
Wow.
yeah, when it's like that, I don't do too good.
Mm. Do you have asthma or something like that, or you just don't
No,
react well?
no, I just don't feel well when it gets
Mm.
like that. I'm prone to like getting nosebleeds
Oh,
and just feel horrible and confused.
wow. Well, I hope you feel better. I hope the weather, tries to cooperate with you. All right, and the last guy we got, well, next to last, we got Cranston. Or I forgot it. Jumped right to James in the middle. Cranston, how's the weather?
It's low 90s, intermittent rain
Has it been that way all week, or you just, getting
all
the
week.
rain? So everybody has been getting rain, then, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and Otto, how's your weather?
No rain. I mean, apparently the Earth is moving closer to the sun.
Uh-huh.
So it's 94 degrees, and then it's going to be like in the triple digits until the end of time, I guess. So
Yeah,
it's the dog days of summer.
yeah,
That's what it is.
we are in it. Yeah, it's hot down here. So, of course, the things that it's hot in the middle of the summer, hot fun in the summertime, and it definitely reminds us all of the summers growing up and the music that used to play when we were kids, and how it was just basically the soundtrack of our lives. But we also started thinking about back in those days, I guess when we started to get a little older, high school, college age, and how some of the performers that we knew when we were growing up, how everybody went through this big change. We're trying to quote unquote become crossover artists. I mean, as a time when I was growing up, there were stations that played pure R&B, you know during the day, dance music, at night, soul music, all day. And little by little, when they had the rise of the, top 100, pop stations, and they had such a mixture, it became of everything. They would play, country, rock, soul, R&B, all of it would all be played on stations. They just have that the best, quote unquote, of all of whatever those things were, which played on the top 100, top 40 stations. And basically, when you go to school, high school, especially, well, middle school too, all kids, no matter what their culture background, everybody knew those songs because they played on the top 40 stations and the top 100 stations. So you had during that period, many black performers who started to get, I think, some attraction in markets where they never used to sell. And then, of course, they start thinking, well, how can I get more of this? And then we had the individuals who became the quote crossover artists, which is these are the artists, a lot of them, soul, funk, R&B, who now modify their styles in order to fit into this very narrow category of black performers that will play on the top 40 stations. Now, I say that and it's not necessarily true because there's some people on the top 40 stations, they play just the same stuff that they always played and they ended up in the top 40. But some really changed, just the basis of who it was they were, how we interacted with those groups to such an extent that they became unrecognizable. And I think the first one that, as we were talking about it, that came to mind was like Cool in the Gang. Now, for everybody that remembers Cool in the Gang from when we were growing up, in the 70s, that, Cool in the Gang was, a huge, the kind of R&B funk kind of group. And then as we got older, and I remember especially in college, they started putting out music that I was like, what in the heck is this? Does anybody else remember that?
Well, it's intentional.
Change?
It's intentional. I
I mean,
mean,
I know,
it's
we
Well,
know,
well,
we know that, we know that. But
well,
just saying, but the
but
question is, do you remember the change?
yeah. The with Cool in the Gang, the change came about. Number one, when their keyboardist Ricky West left. Okay, I don't know whether it was substance abuse problems, whatever, but Ricky West left, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he had a thing where he put kind of the funk
Mm-hmm.
into Cool in the Gang.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then came Saturday Night Fever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cause what was the no, was it Saturday Night Fever? No, I think it might have been Rocky. One of those two
Mm-hmm.
movies featured Summer Madness.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that was a big hit for them. But then they started going into disco. Okay, and one of the this album was so bad that you can't even find it unless you know go through maybe a vintage vinyl site or some
Mm-hmm.
whatever. I have a copy in one of my crates which I don't even touch it, but the name of the album was Everybody's Dancing.
Mm.
Okay, and I don't know what the hell they were thinking with that. It was just a weird, I guess, their weird attempt to do straight up disco.
Mm-hmm.
And then they sort of like, I guess they were trying, oh, they were trying to get something crossover.
Mm-hmm.
And by accident, remember the song Ladies Night?
Yeah.
Yeah, they came out with Ladies Night and they were still trying to get the crossover. And that's when they brought in the lead singer, I think his name was JT Taylor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that's when they had, Celebration and Joanna.
Mm-hmm.
And they,
Yeah. I mean, that was such a difference. I mean, understand these people made the song Jungle Boogie,
yeah, yeah.
and how do you go from that to this?
Well, again, you're trying to get more of an audience, but sometimes you lose. It's not sometimes you just lose your identity. Because I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I don't know if they're still performing or whatever. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
the oldie but goodie circuit. They'll play Celebrate and Joanna before they will run through Jungle Boogie.
Yeah, or Get
Yeah.
Down with the Genie. Come on, man. Those are like, and
All right.
that's what you're saying. Saturday Night Fever was Get Down with the Genie. They
Okay.
played that during the
So
dance sequence with the people at the dance
yeah,
competition.
yeah, because I could actually remember when I was my brother had got me to work where he was working for GQ, the group,
Mm-hmm.
because he had went to music and arts with Sabu and Raheem, the lead singers. So
Mm-hmm.
I remember at that time, Open Sesame there was
Mm-hmm.
this big extravaganza at Starship Discovery, and GQ was there, and Cool and the Gang was gonna be there, and again, you can see that they were trying. I guess they saw maybe what Earth, Wind, and Fire was doing.
Mm-hmm.
That they figured they would cross over too.
But Earth, Wind, and Fire never really changed their style that much when they started crossing over. It was just Earth, Wind, and Fire. And I gotta admit that although I like the song September because of the nostalgia associated with it in my
Right.
life, but even September I think was like a really kind of a move away from
Yeah.
normal Earth, Wind, and Fire. But like Nikki, would always like reemphasize like the fact that they had that at the end the Phoenix horn section, which is
Right.
really a traditional Earth, Wind, and Fire that saves that song.
Well, I mean, if you go to a Earth, Wind, and Fire concert today, say you go to a concert tonight, if you sit in the audience and you listen to them go through their music,
Mm-hmm.
you could pretty much tell what fans came on to the bandwagon at
And
what
when,
Yeah.
time.
yeah.
Okay, because if you're sitting there and I'm just saying, you're sitting there, you listen, and they go into Boogie Wonderland, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All of the white fans will jump up
Mm-hmm.
and will be dancing. If you have, if they play Shining Star,
Yeah.
that's when we'll jump up.
Yep.
And
Then
yeah.
if if they decide to go into the Wayback Machine and play Evil,
Oh yes.
Wow.
that's when the older fans
Mm-hmm.
you get up and try to get up and dance.
Yeah, that's me. I try to
You
get
know
up.
what I mean?
OG fans get up. Yeah.
Right, right. Those are the OG fans.
Yeah. Yeah.
In fact, yeah, you notice, Nikki.
Mhm.
Any Earth, Wind, and Fire fan that can, if you meet that person and they can talk about the Warner Brothers years,
I can.
there you go. You know that's an OG fan.
Mhm.
You know, so
Wow.
I hate to say, but crossover it's 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 a blessing, but it could also be a curse. Look at the Commodores.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know,
What a mess that was. And I know,
yeah,
Otto, you were saying just a second ago, you said that it was intentional. And so I know we started talking about it a while back, and I know you had some thoughts about that. The fact that you thought that some of it was intentional.
Why would you say that it was intentional, Otto?
I don't think it's a crossover. I think it's more of a sell out. Like I'm gonna stop catering to these fans, these black
Mm-hmm.
fans. I'm gonna leave them behind because I'm not making enough money, and I'm going to this other group of people that more expanding my base, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the difference between Off the Wall album from Michael Jackson and Thriller.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
well,
Well,
It's
I,
the
Well,
same
I
thing
mean,
like James
because
talking about the Commodore. Go ahead.
yeah, I mean, like you said, with the difference between the Michael Jackson with the Thriller and Off the Wall, I think it was Cranston who was talking about that how he didn't want to have the music awards come on. Michael Jackson didn't want to have music awards come along again, that he not be, nominated and not be winning, on those music awards. And so
yeah.
he made an effort, to prepare for that crossover. And so, maybe you want to, re-explain what that is, what he did.
Well, the thing that nobody talks about is number one, musicians listen to other people's music, and so there are a lot of rock musicians. It's like after Sinatra died, everybody wanted to do a Sinatra album. Manilow did one. Um, uh, Michael Bolton did one. Steve Carell did one because they were all Sinatra fans. Um, and so they listen to each other's music and borrow from it, whether it's a guitar riff or a whatever. But the other thing is that all black people have one white group that they listen to, and you wouldn't tell anybody. And so there's always been crossover among fans of
Mm-hmm.
the musicians. And Jesse didn't say anything about it until it would sort of sneak out later. So, yeah, well, I do listen to this, that, and the other. Um, and so that's why a lot of these things were not a
Mm-hmm.
shock when they came out. One of the things that
You're breaking up a little for me.
yeah,
Sorry.
one of the things Michael Jackson done when he did Thriller was I forget who the guitarist was, but he was the regular rock guitarist. He had him come over and play the opening on Billie Jean. And unless you read the liner notes, you would never know it. You listen to it and go on to the other part of the record and not think anything of it.
I'm sorry, City went on to say the. I didn't hear the part. He's talking the guitar player who originally did the opening. I didn't hear what you said after that. It kind of broke up a little.
Oh, yeah, he was, I forget what rock band he was
Mm-hmm.
with, but he was brought in specifically to do that opening.
But can I say this though?
Mm-hmm.
With the crossover, and Cranston hit on a good point. With crossover, it works both ways because you had certain groups, certain singers that didn't cross over, but their career started to go downhill. Why? Because us, we in the black community, we have this thing in the black community where we want to go on to the next thing,
Mm-hmm.
okay, as opposed to other people like groups that were famous in like the 60s or 70s were making money over in Europe because you especially with jazz because
Mm-hmm.
European audiences still appreciate what they were doing. They didn't look at them as like the next great thing. So you get a group like okay here in New York, the System.
Mm-hmm.
The System came out. That first album was good.
Mm-hmm.
The second album was good, but they didn't get any any support. And then another thing, like Cranston said with crossover, yeah, I guarantee you, pretty much, if you went into black households in the 70s, 60s, 70s, whatever, you probably found the 45 or album by a white artist.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
No,
I could tell you straight up, I didn't have a problem telling people that I was a fan of him. But one of the best concerts I ever went to was my first seeing the Echo Winter Group at Madison Square Garden.
Wow.
Yeah, even though I was like deaf for 2 days and whatnot, but that was a blast. That was the
You know
experience.
that I'll tell you things very interesting about that is that with Edgar Winter, I
Hmm.
know who it is. I don't know any of his music that I don't think I do, but that's how during that period
Right.
Edgar Winter was so iconic because he was such an albino, you know?
Yeah, and if one put it this way, an early hip hop classic was Edgar Winter's Frankenstein.
You know what? I
Okay.
don't even know what it is.
Yeah, go to YouTube,
Mm-hmm.
check out Frankenstein, the original recorded version. That was an early hip hop classic. You know what I'm saying?
Huh.
And it was Edgar Winter also had a brother, Johnny Winters, who
Mm.
was a great rock blues guitarist. You know, and the thing about them two is they didn't have a problem listening or playing or hanging out with black folks. You know.
Mm-hmm.
well, the other thing is by the early 60s. '70s, we were listening to tie a yellow ribbon around the old
Right,
folk.
right,
We
right.
were listening to Tony Orlando and Dawn.
You know what? And
We
that's
were
I got to
listening.
ask you all that. You know, the two of you all. It's like uh, Tony Orlando and Dawn, and we all knew those songs. You know, by Tony Orlando and Dawn, and then they had a television show. And I have to say, why? Why did that happen?
Well, we were listening to oh Hall and Oates.
Well, Hall and Oates actually
No,
played
not
good
yet,
music.
not yet.
Yeah, but that was
But
after that. But still, yeah, go on, Otto.
well, I was going to say, you know, what James said was interesting about people having albums by white artists in their home. Before I became the age of purchasing albums or records or anything like that, the closest we had to anyone outside of black people records and albums in our home was maybe Herb Albert. That was it.
Yeah.
There were no white artists at all in our house. I mean, it could be gospel, it could be, normal blues and soul. There was nothing there. And as far as Tony Orlando and Dawn is concerned, they may have been good for television, but there was no one in my house that was going out and buying a record by them.
Right, right.
Well,
Yeah, and I would also say the reason why Tony Orlando and Dawn they became popular is look at the song and look at the times. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
tie a yellow ribbon. That was about basically the Vietnam
Post.
War.
Well, yeah,
You see what I'm saying?
yeah.
So it was like a quasi pseudo patriotic song.
Mm.
You know. Now, yes, listen, my father.
Actually, I'm going to say, wait.
Yeah.
Let us back up because I have to confess something to you.
Mhm.
Like, I thought he was getting out of prison.
I did not. I thought it was a war song too.
I
Yeah.
say,
I
I'm
thought it was
coming home.
related
I've
to the
done my
war.
time.
Wow.
I got to is it mine? Is it mine? If you receive my letter telling you I'll soon be free, so I think like I
Yeah,
don't think.
well, in a way, you're correct because again, by the time that song came out, we were winding down in the Vietnam War, and we had that whole thing with people that were prisoners of war
Mm-hmm.
coming
Well, yeah,
back.
Uh,
I didn't think
You
about
see
that,
what
but
I
yeah,
mean?
I thought
I just,
I thought.
But it
I
was
just,
mainly
it just
for
hit,
war. It was
it just hit
mainly
me.
war.
It hit me the same way. I mean, you could be right. I mean, if you look at Wikipedia, maybe there's a genesis of it, but it just hit me the same way as a war
Yeah,
related song.
yeah, the war related song. And see, with now with my house growing up, what's the word? Eclectic.
Mm-hmm.
We were very eclectic. We listened to a lot of different things. It's funny because I was thinking about that the other night. My father, he would do his West Coast jazz, but he liked classical. And God help us, he also liked WPAT, which was light classical or light FM. You
Mm-hmm.
know, my sister, she would come in the house with, yeah, she was doing the Motown thing, but she come in with "Hello Goodbye" by the Beatles
Mm-hmm.
and the Chicago. You know what I'm saying? And
Oh,
to this,
see,
so
my family was different, I guess, in a way, and not I never thought about it until this conversation. But my family was all the way black. I remember having the adults having a conversation about the fifth dimension, and they saw them on some show or something, I overheard the adults talking. And said, "Well, they're nice, but they're trying to sound too white to me." And that was a discussion because they didn't have any. I mean, I heard you WABC and all the stations in New York City. You
Mm-hmm.
hear everything. There's nothing you don't hear. But as far as
right.
going out and playing getting those records and having them played in your home, it just didn't happen.
No,
Well, I mean, well, after Joe said, I went and I did look regarding the song, and it is kind of interesting the way that they discussed it or said it, that the yellow ribbon as a symbol dates back to the 19th century when women allegedly wore yellow ribbons in their hair to show devotion to a husband or sweetheart serving in the U.S. cavalry, as yellow was the cavalry branch color.
ah,
The The modern popularization came from a story about a man returning from prison who asked his loved one to tie a yellow ribbon around a tree if he was welcome back. Seeing the ribbon meant he could return home. Absent is signal, well as absence was signal rejection. And that's so basically it's kind of like a mix. They keep saying that
Yeah,
it's somebody who served time in prison.
yeah,
And
yeah,
but then it said the song cemented the yellow ribbon as a cultural symbol of support and welcome. During the Vietnam War and later events like the Iran hostage crisis, yellow ribbons were widely used to show solidarity with absent loved ones or returning prisoners. So it could be, like you said, a returning prisoner from the war.
yeah. That's why again, that's why I think it was so popular
Mm-hmm.
because you had you know prisoners of war coming from
Mm-hmm.
what they call it, the Hotel Hanoi
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot. I Yeah, that's why I think that song was so popular, and the fact
Mm-hmm.
that again with the radio stations, they I mean
They played a
certain
lot. I mean that and what
yeah,
not
Mm-hmm.
not
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 three
three times
times.
and all
Yeah.
that.
yeah,
But the thing is that a lot of the songs and albums that are played in my home, they weren't played on American Bandstand. They weren't played on different shows. They weren't
Right.
playing what's his name on the All Stars? What they call that?
G
What
Walker.
does it take?
G Walker.
Yeah, that wasn't on a lot of shows. So it wasn't TV songs. I mean, every once in a
Mm-hmm.
while, watching the older people watch television because they control the television. You'll see, Aretha was on, or the Supremes were on.
Mm-hmm.
It was limited, but a lot of the stuff that they listened to, the albums they listened to, they weren't on television. They may have been on the radio because once again, New York is very eclectic.
Mm-hmm.
So we heard everything, Beatles, everything like
yeah,
that. But
yeah,
nobody bought no Beatle albums in the house.
Why don't we
no,
bring people out? But like you said, that those things were accessible on
So
television and
we
stuff.
didn't buy them, but
But
bu- 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 bu-
so we didn't buy them.
you'd watch
But
Flip Wilson and see
yes.
people that you normally wouldn't buy, but you
Mm-hmm.
were exposed to them.
Mm-hmm.
well, again with my house, like I said, we listened to a lot of different stuff. With my mother, she was gospel. Her thing was "Oh
Mm-hmm.
Happy Day," but my mother also liked novelty songs, so to
Mm-hmm.
speak. Because she loved it to hear Louis Armstrong on the radio because he actually had a top hit back then with "Hello Dolly." And they was playing it forever. And like I said, my father was jazz. If and my brother was everything. My first taste of Hendrix came from my brother, and it was even a thing with my family. Like we had one of the section of the family stacks. That's all they
Mm-hmm.
knew. Stacks. Sam and Dave,
Mm-hmm.
Barcade. That's all they knew. With my cousins, another part of the family, they were hard jazz, bebop.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. With my part of the family, like I said, we listened to a lot of different stuff. I can actually remember my father coming in the house with the 45
Mm-hmm.
version of the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Hmm.
Yeah, I can remember in the back
Yeah.
row here, boom, 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 woo, woo, woo. I'm like, oh my god,
But
mom,
but
we
but I,
had that in
but
the
I
Yeah.
think
room.
you had these groups like the Commodores and Lionel Richie, especially Lionel Richie, who made a conscious decision to say that I'm leaving this
Mm-hmm.
particular fan base and going to this other fan
Right.
base,
Sever
and never
ties. Yeah.
and never look back. And
Right.
the same thing with Cool and the Gang, and the same thing with Michael Jackson Off the Wall album. Um, the only ones I
Those.
think that kept it real to me, unless y'all tell me something that a song that I'm missing are groups like the Isley Brothers are always like the same,
Yeah.
you know.
See, here's the thing with the Isley brothers, though. The Isley brothers, they would when they had their really good run from '73 to '80. if you notice, the Isley Brothers had also had that one song like "Summer Breeze," "Brown Eyed Girl," okay, that light rock that was going on in the early '70s, and also the Isley Brothers were appealing to people that listen to rock. Okay, because I mean, I mean, listen, Ernie Isley learned some of what he learned from being around Hendrix. You
Yeah,
know,
but he wasn't playing. He wasn't playing no Diana or you know. He
no,
wasn't
because
playing.
and plus also with the Isley Brothers, like I said, they did cross over with songs like Brown Eyed Girl and Summer Breeze. Um, but their main thing, which had them with the black community, was their slow songs, their love
Yeah, I
songs.
mean, summer. If you talk about Summer Breeze,
Yeah,
no, number one, Seals and Crofts was played on black stations,
Yeah.
and then when they sang Summer Breeze, they sang it with a soulfulness to it.
yeah,
And so
Yeah.
it's like a lot of the groups and albums that a lot of black people had in their home and listened to. Those groups weren't ready for TV. I mean, you didn't see the Isaac Brothers a lot on television, right? But and then I think Lionel Richie made a decision. You don't see the Commodores a lot on television.
No. You
I
said
need to
Lionel
get my
Richie though.
I need to come
Yeah.
up and sing some stuff that get up with Kenny Rogers and sing some different things, and I need to and cross over. I ain't coming back. I mean, once I cross over, I'm burning the bridge. I ain't coming back no more.
well, early on. I mean, if you get that album that has, remember Machine Gun?
Yep.
That was
Okay,
the jam in the hood. I mean,
yeah,
you couldn't walk anywhere in the hood without
yeah,
that hearing that playing.
yeah. But it's a case of some groups cross over and they feel that they don't have to come back. Some groups cross over because they see, and there's also a thing with crossing over where you're trying to stay relevant, and that's what messed up Earth, Wind and Fire with
Mm-hmm.
the Faces album. Because if you listen to certain cuts on Faces,
That song, Back on the Road, I didn't like that.
you would swear that they were trying to
Yeah,
copy the Doobie Brothers.
But it
Really.
wasn't if that song, that album, that wasn't made for you as an audience. They were trying to I mean, they were crossing the bridge,
Well, they
figuratively
wasn't.
crossing the bridge, right?
Well, I would say it wasn't that they were crossing the bridge. They were trying to make a stew that would appeal to everybody.
it didn't work.
It didn't work. They were trying too much to keep their old audience and the new audience from I am,
Well, see,
and they were just
but that's
being
a
too
problem
very
though, because
mistake.
I listen to someone like the Isley Brothers who across the span. I mean, I think people don't know how long that group has been around, like the Isley Brothers, right, for a long time. And so they did Summer Breeze and a soulful version of Summer Breeze,
I
which
like
is I
that.
think is like in the early '70s or something, maybe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
73. That was the
Right,
3+3 album.
right. And then they come out with the '80s with Fight the Power and stuff. Man, they weren't necessarily made for television. That like Tony Orlando or Dawn or the Fifth Dimension or Lionel Richie became with his phony Caribbean accent.
Ugh,
Um,
yeah. I thought that
you
all night
know,
long thing. Ugh. That was
But
kind
you
of
also
creepy.
Harry Bird,
Excuse me.
you also Eric Bird and War.
Wait a minute, you said we also saw Aaron Burr?
no, I think it makes it Gary Bird and War, maybe War.
Oh, Eric Burden and War.
I don't think War try to cross over and get no. To me,
Well, I mean, what song would you think would be a crossover with War? Um,
I would
Cranston.
say, I would say, I would say, why can't we be friends?
You think so?
oh
I thought. I don't
no,
know. I mean, I thought
man,
that was a real what you call it song.
yeah, I thought that was funky as hell.
No,
No,
Yeah.
it was funky as hell, but it it crossed over.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
I
you
mean,
see,
it's one thing to have
Well, let me
have
put it
one
this
thing to
way:
have one thing to
it didn't
perform
cross over.
whose
It didn't
work
cross
crosses
over.
over,
I
but to
think people.
change your work to cross it over
I,
is a different thing.
well, you
I
have,
think. I
but
think. I think
you
people crossed over. People crossed over. There's a difference
Hmm.
between people crossing over to get to that
no,
artist instead of that artist crossing over
no.
to get to those people.
Listen, what I'm about to say.
Hmm.
You have crossover intentional, then you have accidental crossing over. Okay, just like with the Beatles, "Hello Goodbye," that was an accidental crossover to the black community.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Now with
Was it?
yeah, with War, with "Why Can't We Be Friends," that was an accidental crossover,
I said the word. I don't say the act. The word should be accidental, but it's just
right?
It's incidental. It
Right,
happens.
right. So it's
Incidental
like
crossover.
so you can sell out, or or people come in and they just frequent
Yeah, you think
your
just incidental that your thing.
right, right. But
Thing.
people like Lionel Richie and Michael Jackson. I'm not
They made an
judging them.
effort. They made an
They made
absolute effort to.
right. They said, and Cranston confirmed this in one of their past shows. They made a decision. Off the Wall was a jam, right? Everybody in the hood had Off the Wall album in their home,
Mhm.
but to them, I guess they said we weren't winning enough awards or making enough money or high enough on the Grammy charts or whatever, and so they decided, hey, it's not good enough being in the top 10 of the Jet magazine, whatever. We want to be on the cover of Rolling Stone,
Right, and
and
well,
so they made that
Well,
decision.
no, it's
yeah,
off the wall. Well, it's off the wall. They were selling 1 million copies a week, and they wouldn't play them on MTV.
I remember that.
yeah,
They would play black performers on MTV.
and
But the black audience didn't care though because a
All
black
right.
audience, it's like fuck MTV. What do we care about MTV?
But I
well,
remember there were
here,
people who like David Bowie who was very vocal about the fact that MTV, was blacklisting, all the black performers.
okay, here's the thing about Lionel Richie and the Off the Wall album. Lionel
Hmm.
Richie, what happened with him is he got a swelled head, in my opinion, because there were certain people that were trying to say that he was the black Paul McCartney. Okay, so I think that kind of
Who
swelled.
said that?
This was in a couple of interviews and in what is
Wow,
it? Record World magazine, because I used to subscribe to that magazine. But
wow,
people would consider him either the next or the black Paul McCartney, and I think
that's
that
something else.
yeah, I think
Which was
that I got to his it got to his head because if you look at the album after Zoom, Heroes,
I love that song. That's my favorite songs.
it was
That
a
song.
good song, but a lousy album,
Hmm.
lousy album.
But the song Zoom is
You
like
know,
one of
But
my favorite songs.
you watch him. You watch. He did Machine Gun, right? They did perform Machine
Mhm.
Gun on Soul Train. I bet the people who are Lionel Richie fans don't even know that he can play instruments.
no, they
Mhm.
don't.
They don't even know.
No,
They
they
don't
don't.
know.
They don't. Because again, he was feeling himself. You know, he got swole head. He's like, I don't need the rest of the Commodores.
I'm sure somebody said to him, "Why
Yeah,
you have to share your money with them?" You
yeah,
know.
exactly. Now with Off the Wall, the crazy thing about Off the Wall, right, is
Hmm.
some of those songs were either written or co-written by a white guy who was in the Black Funk group before that.
Hmm.
Okay, Rod Templeton.
Hmm.
Okay, Rod Templeton. He was one of the main people behind Heatwave with those
Yeah.
brothers that that came from.
Yeah, but that's true. That's true, and that's fine. But once again, he's in the funk. He's in the funk dynamic, right?
Hmm.
So the cut of his skin is irrelevant. The fact that Michael Jackson made a decision based, and his looks changed. and everything changed.
Mhm.
I mean, look at the Off the Wall album, the cover of Off the Wall, and look and compare it to the cover of the Thriller album, how
I
he
would
looked in Thriller.
I would even say listen to the Off the Wall album and listen to an album after that, say Bad, right?
So, you have
Those
that right, huh?
bad or even Thriller, they don't sound like Off the Wall.
No, they
Off
don't.
Off the Wall has that Quincy taste to it. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Off
Quincy
the Wall
Jones.
does.
Yeah.
I don't think it does.
I didn't think
I
so
think
either.
Thriller does, starts with that Quincy Jones bullshit.
Hmm.
Well,
I
he
think that
came.
Quincy with that the dude, and who's that guy that he
Hmm.
what's that dude that passed away recently? That played People
Uh,
Bryson,
hmm.
vibe. That soft ass shit.
Yeah, well, that was during the early '80s with what they
Hmm.
call electric soul. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
But no, Off the Wall. If you listen to that and you listen to the albums that came after that, it doesn't have that same
Well,
sound.
yeah, and I guess you said, but since that Chrissy Jones did produce Off the Wall, and I think what happened, like you said, he produced Off the Wall. Michael Jackson didn't get the quote unquote respect that he thought that he should have, and so they just went, 100% whole hog in the other direction.
Yeah,
And that's why Say was actually the first single released, because it's definitely the most Beatles sounding song
Hmm.
and attract that audience. They knew what they were doing. They were crafting it to win awards.
Hmm.
And if
What's
they
that?
made a whole lot of money along the way, even better.
Yeah, attract awards and attract a certain audience. I guess Penelope, you know this because you're in the business, kind of. I mean, the concert goers, sold out concerts,
Yeah,
right?
that's where you make your money. The concerts, that's the money. The album is your commercial, and your money is made, on tour. And these people, when they start going on tour and they're filling up stadiums and stuff, I mean, it's like they probably never dreamed, that they would get to that point in their careers, you know,
Well,
because,
the question is, would you do it? Would any of y'all do it? I mean, if you were a soul singer, you know what I mean? If you were the Isaac Brothers and stuff, and you see all this money that these people are making because they're getting booked and they're on NTV and they're getting all this stuff. Would you go the Cool and the Gang route if you see Michael Jackson making all this bucks and you think you're stuck doing Hollywood swinging, which is bad as hell, right? But you know that if you watered your stuff down, you could make billions of dollars.
I don't know.
Well,
Like, maybe I should
and
think about, like, back so many, many years ago. I don't remember this. We were at one of those cons somewhere, and we were talking about the fact that you have like other black authors and you write your story, like your main character is a black person, and you're asking, for those of us who have a black character as a main character in our book, if we would change it to an Anglo character, if it meant that we could actually get our work, out there and seen, faster or more, and and you know, I don't think anybody responded that they would do it.
well,
Everybody's saying that, yeah, you could get more eyes on your work, but then, it's our story, our experiences, because basically, your characters and stuff are going to be affected by or based on some of your own experiences of people that you know or have known or something you heard through people that you know. And then you are saying that that experience, then, you're giving it to someone from a different culture, an Anglo person who otherwise may not have done those things because these are things that people in your culture do. And to say no, in order to become more popular, famous, whatever, I wouldn't do it. I would be content with a smaller audience and to stay true to the original vision. You know,
but it goes back to what Michael Jordan said: Republicans buy Nikes too.
I know, but the problem is that all he's doing is putting his face on a pair of Nikes and not being controversial. What we're saying is, if you have your work there's a certain character that's been created that is a black person, a woman, Asian person, Hispanic person, or if they say, I really like this story, but if only you can make the person into a white male or white female, you know, then I think we've got something here. We just say,
Yeah,
okay, I'll do that, you know.
and it's always a danger, right? Because the media can get a hold of you, right? And they can then make a white version of you. Remember when
Mm-hmm.
Pat Boone was doing all those cover albums and stuff?
Yeah,
And you remember
yeah.
when the show with Queen Latifah on it,
Mm-hmm. Really
and then
single, yeah.
yeah, they just turned it into Friends. So it's like, are you beating them to the punch by doing it yourself, or waiting for them to do it to you? I don't
Yeah, I
know.
mean, I think that it's one thing to let them do it to you. To me, it's like the difference between, um, I have sex with you because I want to, or that you are going to sexually assault me. If I decide that, I want to get down with whoever, whenever, that's my business. But you don't get to take it, you know, or I
Or
can give
give
it
you a
away,
choice if you
or I
want to
give it away
continue.
because I can be, like I said, then I'm a prostitute because otherwise I would not give it to you, except now you offer me money for it and I give it to you.
Right,
So,
and so
it's
you got the Jackson Five, and then of course here comes the Osmonds, right?
right, right.
There's nothing about the Jackson Five there's nothing that I remember from the Jackson Five that I would call a crossover hit. There's white people that have no idea that the Jackson Five exists, except if they went to see the movie Michael. Then they'll
Mm-hmm.
find out there's a
Mm-hmm.
group called the
Well,
Jackson Five from
well,
Gary, Indiana.
they did have a crossover album,
Mm-hmm.
and it really did not do too good. You
Which
remember
one
the
is that?
album Skyrider? Okay.
Oh, don't know it. I gotta see what was on it.
Yeah.
You're talking about
Okay.
the Jackson Five and not the Jacksons, right? Just Jackson Five.
No, I'm talking about the Jackson Five. It's an album. I think maybe their second or third album, and it has like a black and white photo of them. I think
Uh
standing
huh. I'm looking at it. Yes, yes.
yeah, that's the album where they did a lot of like '50s covers,
Ooh,
like
I
Rock
really
and
don't like that kind
Robin,
of stuff. Oh, I
Rock.
remember
Well, I
that
remember.
Rocket
I remember
Robin. Oh
Rockin'
my God,
Robin.
yeah,
I remember.
Yeah,
I thought it was just a. I thought it was a joke song. It sounds so stupid
yeah. It's
because
like
Michael
really, which
Jackson
idea was
and
that?
I mean they kept their ensemble together and they're singing it and it didn't sound. I don't know what to make of that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know
well,
what to.
this is what I'm trying to say. They crossed over with that because at the time, you know how it is where every decade looks nostalgically
Yeah, I
back
don't
at
understand.
other decades. Well, this going into the '70s, it was a big thing about nostalgia for the '50s. Okay, you remember Happy Days, American Graffiti.
I'm
Uh
Uh,
glad
huh.
that stopped.
yeah. So that album, Skyrider, it it would have been better as a Led Zeppelin album because it felt like a lead balloon.
Wow.
It
To
had
Wow.
me, I remember you know radio stations and people in the radio record shops playing that rock and Robin thing, and it just sounded like
Mm-hmm.
the Jackson Five singing a song, right?
It's some
So it was
silly little
like,
song. Yeah, it's just a
yeah,
silly song.
it didn't sound like they were changing anything integral to the way that they performed, as opposed to a Lionel Richie. He basically changed the way
right.
that he sounded. It's the same thing with Cool and the Gang, but they got a front singer. It's like they didn't have no front singer singing Hollywood
Mm-hmm.
swinging, right? So
Yeah.
it was the Jackson Five singing these songs. It sounded
Yep.
kind of stupid. It
Yep.
sounded stupid, but it was the Jackson Five. You
But
knew
what?
it was the Jackson
Okay,
Five.
now I'm
But
looking at this
but
thing
what?
here. They said, well, okay, if you look at this thing, I looked at the Skywriter album. It says the tracks listing is Skywriter, Hallelujah Day, The Boogeyman, Touch, Corner of the Sky, I Can't
Yeah, I
Get
remember
Enough,
that from Pippin.
Uppermost, World of
Yep.
Sunshine, Ooh, I'd Love to Be With You, and You Made Me What I Am. And there's only one song that I remember off that album, and that is Corner of the Sky.
I remember you
Well,
remember Rock and Robin though, right?
But they don't.
Rockin'
That's
Robin
not
is
on here.
on Live on the Forum.
It's not on this
Not,
album.
Oh,
yeah.
But you have to
That's the
remember,
only song that I remember from this album.
the Pippin song.
Yeah, Corner of the
but
Sky.
but you have to remember by that time, the Supremes had already crossed over.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
But did they cross over, or did people, the audience, cross over to see them?
No, that
Because
was
they were on TV a lot. They were on TV
yeah,
a
but
lot.
that was a effort by Motown to cross over because I have three albums. One is the Supremes at the Copa. The other one is at the Temptations live at the Copacabana, and the Temptations live at Talk of the Town. That's if you listen to those albums, those are very crossover.
Do they not sound like the Supremes anymore? Or
They
I mean,
sound like the Supremes, but they're singing showbiz Broadway songs.
Well, actually, if you think about it and you look at the kind of the rules of the studio with you know with the Motown, they were trying to create that kind of polished, clean
Yeah,
off, acceptable quote unquote. What do you call that word? Of acceptability. Acceptability polish.
they were TV ready, Penelope. I mean,
Right.
basically, the Isley brothers were not, right,
Right.
but the Supremes were.
Hmm.
So were the Temptations in their suits and stuff, and the Four Tops. They're basically television ready. I don't think that, in my mind, the Supremes, they stayed black to me. I don't think that they were attempting to do the Lionel Richie, Michael Jackson,
Hmm.
it's Cool in the Gang thing, which would
And
be.
and and also basically what it became for the Supremes is the vehicle that became Diana Ross and the Supremes.
yeah,
Where Barry Gordy
Right.
was promoting
Yeah.
her in front
yeah.
of the group.
And you can't tell me she wasn't crossover.
That was the whole label Motown trying to be more
Yes.
crossover
Yeah. Agreed.
than the
Agreed.
individual artists.
Hmm. Yeah, I believe that the whole concept of Motown was what Barry Gordy was trying to create these, acceptable quote unquote
Well, yeah,
groups.
Being acceptable blacks. Well, the Motown label. I remember the Motown label being in my house. I mean,
Hmm.
like James said, there's Stax.
yeah,
There was
and
Motown label. There was what's the is it
Atlantic.
Tamla?
and
Tam
Yeah.
and
Atlantic?
yeah, and mind you, Motown, the label itself was crossover, but soul, okay. Remember the soul label, the purple magenta label that Gladys Knight and the Pips, and I
Hmm.
think the originals were on. That wasn't crossover.
No.
That was them trying to compete head to head with Stax. Okay, that was
And the thing is,
Stax.
they say that, for instance, uh, like Gladys Knight and the Pips, people gravitated toward them. They didn't try to quote unquote cross over. People just gravitated toward
Yeah,
them.
I got that too.
yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
feel like they were trying. I didn't get the feeling. Gladys Knight was soulful.
Yeah.
When not the thing is, when these people crossed over, this is the difference for me, and then maybe arbitrary. But when these people crossed over, they lost their soul. There's no soul in anything that Lionel Richie has done once he crossed over. There's no soul in anything that Cool and the Gang did after they crossed over.
Hmm.
There's no soul in anything that Michael Jackson did after he crossed over. There's nothing. Gladys Knight's soulful to the day. She's
Hmm.
still soulful. I remember my mom telling me that Dionne Warwick was on the Apollo Theater, and she was booed off the stage because the audience thought she wasn't soulful enough. So being soulful was key to a lot of black people. You had to have that Patti LaBelle soul in your voice, that Shaka Khan soul in your voice. If you gave that up in order to attract a white audience, and I think people like Lionel Richie and Cool and the Gang got them somebody who sang ballads like that.
Hmm.
I think that you give up your
The pop
soulfulness.
songs. Yeah, because
Yeah.
it wasn't just the ballads. It's the little pop stuff that they had done, like celebration and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Instead of got
Yeah, you can't say like.
bubblegum kind of
Yeah,
have them.
right. You got LTD with
Nothing that you sing is going to be too controversial or anything like
right.
that.
Teddy Pendergrass left Howard Melvin and the Blue Notes.
Hmm.
Teddy didn't lose his soulfulness. He he
Well.
he had he has other issues,
yeah.
but
Hmm.
he didn't lose his soulfulness.
But
Hmm.
again, like I said, it's a two-way street because we get groups like you ever heard of the Temprees?
Mm-hmm.
Black Ivory.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I
Okay,
heard of
these
them. I heard
groups.
Black Ivory.
Yeah, these groups, the Downbird and the Blackbirds. These are groups
Yes.
that
Yeah.
stayed basically in the community, but again, with our community, we don't. Once an artist gets maybe like the second, third album, our
Mm-hmm.
support falls off.
Yeah.
I hate to say, I listen. I got crates of albums where I thought that by the third Harold Downbird and the Blackbird album, I was like, whoa, this is a good album.
Well,
Nobody
yeah, it's
bought
good
it.
stuff. But you know when Parliament Funkadelic came in, it wiped up in my mind as a kid. I was like, this is a takeover.
Oh well,
This is a takeover. This is a
they
takeover. He wiping a lot of people out, man. With the
yeah,
Parliament Funkadelic, everybody else need to go probably go sit down.
yeah. If in fact, go to their Let's Take It to the Stage album, go to the title track, and George Clinton is just dissing everybody. He called what he call Earth, Wind, and Fire, turf, hot air, and no fire.
Oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
that's a
I
Okay,
say, but I say,
takeover.
but I say this though. It's like, okay, you say that Earth, Wind, and Fire, but if you're going to say it, you probably need to work on saying something a little bit more clever. Okay.
Yeah,
so
a little more clever, but it's a
so
takeover.
yeah.
Sylvester,
Man, yeah, it was
you know,
always Sylvester.
Sylvester's a takeover. It's like you get people like Ethel Merman trying to do disco. But when Sylvester came in, and Chic,
Yeah.
their stuff is
And
like
Donald Rogers,
that's a takeover. That's a
yeah.
takeover.
And they are who they are, and they sing it and you like it and it's great, but they weren't changing it.
I mean, that groove is so good. That groove is so good and been used so
Sampled so
often,
many times.
sampled so many times, from good times to God knows whatever they do with that now Rogers bass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know,
So they ain't trying to sell out. It's a takeover. But I don't know how many concert gigs they got, or how many, where the real money is. I know maybe television could be a guide. I know they showed up on television a lot. They were always dressed up in their suits
talk about
and
Chic.
yeah, chic. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And
well, Chic. The thing with, and again, by the third album, I thought the third album was good. They were still in the pocket, but nobody supported them. You know what I'm saying? But with Chic, their thing was listen overseas. People love you no matter how long you've been in the business.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, my right now as we speak, my friend, my buddy, Ralph Rowe, grew up in Bronx River. He's their drummer. He's Chic's drummer. Okay, and last I heard, talked to them, they were in, I believe it was Europe. You know, so overseas they love you, but I hate to say it over here,
you,
nah,
you got to cross over to survive. Is that basically it?
no, no, it's this. Either you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. Because if you cross over to quote unquote mainstream stream, they're only gonna
Mm-hmm.
support you but so much. Okay, if you stay in the pocket with your own community, they're only gonna support you because in our community we look for the quote unquote the next best thing or next great thing or the
Maybe
best.
that's the reason why Michael Jackson jumped and then Thriller. Because he knew what you knew, which is basically the support of the black fans is not sustainable.
Well, I don't think that's exactly it.
No, I
Okay, if
don't
you
think
think
for
about it,
him. No,
I think that what it is in our community is like we only have so much, right? Um, we only have limited uh, disposable income to put toward these things, and every year, it's not a year, 2 years, 3 years, maybe 3 years. Let's say that period of time, 3 years, you got somebody new coming along. So even if you're splitting your money between the newcomers and the previous performers that you enjoyed. The previous performer that you enjoyed is getting half of what they normally were getting from you. So the difficulty, we don't have the disposable income, is supporting not just your favorites, but then any newcomers. What can we do?
Yeah. But the Cool and the Gang sellout is almost hurtful, right?
Hmm.
To me, because it's like you're singing Hollywood swinging. We're young hearing that. That sounds bad as hell. And then they switch to Diana. It just it just it seems wrong. It's just wrong, right?
We'll just say because it lacks, like I said again, there's nothing about it that is controversial.
No, no,
Nothing
not at
about it
all.
that has a point of view.
And we grew up, and
Um,
we grew up, and the thing, the way that we grew up, and the way that we were raised, being black and the black
mhm.
and the black culture, art this your music. Some of your music should be wrong, right?
Yeah,
It should be pushed up against the mainstream culture and challenging to the mainstream culture.
yeah. And also,
There's nothing challenging about Diana. There's nothing challenging about that.
you said that, it reminded me of something too that you said when we talked about Tony Orlando and Don. And I thought about something you said a long time ago. It just came to me just now. Why Tony Orlando and Don? Because in our community, and the other communities too, we like storytelling songs, and he did a lot of storytelling songs. You know
Yeah,
that.
he did. Knocked 3 times and
Yeah,
Yellow
yeah,
Ribbon and
yeah. They did a
what's
lot
the
of
other one?
storytelling songs. So I think that people who do storytelling songs,
Well, that's what Jim
that's
Croce.
attractive.
I know Jim
Right.
Croce songs.
Hmm.
Be telling something,
Yeah, he
big
did storytelling
bad Leroy
songs.
Brown.
Yeah,
Right.
Well,
people like that.
yeah, and that's why back then you had a you say incidental, I say accidental. You had a hit crossing over from the white community to the black community with black folk. Remember that song about stories, Louie
Hmm.
Louie?
Yeah,
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 yeah, yeah.
yeah. That's it.
That's a
With
song. That's a
storytelling,
story song. Yeah,
Yeah.
storytelling
that's a story
stories.
song.
And
Even
so I'm looking.
even even the Big Payback, the James Brown
Yeah,
Big Payback,
it's a
is a
storytelling
story
song.
song. He's saying this guy did these things. That
Yeah,
I'm gonna
and it's
get your ass now.
yeah.
Yeah,
And if you look here, I was looking at the songs that Candida, you know,
Candida. Yeah,
yep. And they have a, what is it? What are you doing, son? Not 3 times, Carolina,
yeah.
let's
It's a
run away.
song. Yeah,
Songs that tell, you're telling a story. You're talking about a thing that you're gonna do, something that what you're thinking about, what you wish. Storytelling songs. People like
right,
storytelling songs.
right.
You know
I was thinking about that the other day, and you know how eclectic you are. You're in the community. You know what song I was thinking about, and I have
what?
no idea why. Delta Dawn.
Oh my gosh, isn't that a thing?
I have no
Yeah,
idea why that
another,
song came up.
yeah, but that was a big song.
That's a
And again,
song, right?
this is
And it was
a
on TV a lot. It was on
and it is a
television a lot.
storytelling song.
It's a storytelling song.
Yeah, it does. That's a song. Whether you like it or not, it's embedded in your brain.
But in my
Right.
brain. And it come back God knows how many years later. Delta Dawn. What's that flower you got on? Can it
Yeah.
be a painted rose from days go
Yeah.
by? And did I hear you say that you were leaving here today?
Leave it there. Take you to his mansion in the sky.
What is going on? Someone help me!
It said talk about the Delta Dawn's an old maid. To old. She's
Yeah, all these things.
she's
Yeah, so I'm listening.
she's 41 years
Yeah,
old.
I'm a kid.
Still.
I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna listen to
Yeah.
that. I'm gonna listen to that. That's a story.
Instead of waiting around for some man.
Yeah, it's telling a story.
Mm-hmm.
Well, better you than me finding out the
Yeah.
story because I know every time I heard it, I was like, ah!
I listened to that whole thing.
Yeah.
And
How about
what's that other
you?
stupid song that Vicki Lawrence sang?
Oh yeah.
That's the night that the lights went
went
out. In
Georgia.
What's going on? What
Yeah.
happened?
Yeah, lights tonight went out in Georgia.
What happened?
There's
I don't give a damn
stories.
about Georgia.
It's all
I don't care about
stories.
Georgia. I
But
don't,
it's a story.
yeah, they're telling the song.
So
Yeah,
I think that that's a lot of songs also. Performers who do those storytelling songs, because people like the stories. They like storytelling songs.
yeah.
Right?
Like I said, James Bond, a big payback. I said,
They
what that dude
cross
did to
over
you,
too,
James?
'cause
He
I
did
like
what?
story.
He sold you
No,
out.
no karate.
Did he got with your
There's
drink?
no
Did he got with
Yeah,
your
karate.
no,
woman?
crazy.
Oh
Yeah.
damn! Go get him, man.
What you gonna do? Cranston, you're saying something. Oh, he's gone. I guess he'll be back in a second.
You're
Yeah,
absolutely
but
right, Penelope. Story
yeah,
songs.
it, yeah. Those stories, those this performance in story songs, which all always crossed over because you think about something like even though it was not on black stations, but everybody knew it because it was a storytelling song. Was it what's his name? Charlie, the violin, the fiddle player.
Oh yeah, the devil went down to
Going down to Georgia. Yeah,
yeah.
everybody knew that song because it's a storytelling song.
What's another one? Billy, don't be a hero.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that one,
that one
yeah.
too. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All these storytelling songs.
Why do I know this
Oh,
song? Billy,
everybody.
don't be a
Yeah,
hero. Don't be a fool with your
yeah. There we go. Billy, don't be a hero. Yeah, we go.
Billy, don't be
Oh,
a
I mean,
hero.
Clinton, you could do
Come
entire
back to
thing of the
me.
storytelling songs because there are so many that everybody knows them. All
Everybody
this,
knows the
everybody knows the
storytelling song.
storytelling
Even
song.
even what even Gladys Knight and the Pips, Georgia, Midnight Train to
Yeah,
Georgia.
he's leaving on midnight train to Georgia. I'd rather live in this
He's
world or die in
leaving
mine.
on the
Yeah,
Midnight Train to Georgia.
yeah.
He tried and he failed and he going
That's
back to
right.
Georgia.
That's right.
I'm gonna be
That's
with
good
him.
stuff.
I'm gonna be with. I know you
I know
will.
you will.
I
Yeah.
know you will.
Come on, man. But yeah, those are great. And we all enjoyed those types of songs.
Are
I
those
think that people
crossover? Are those
I think
crossover
that they
attempts?
I think that they not crossover tips, but like again, it was incidental because people like storytelling songs. So when somebody hears, oh, it's a good song storytelling in this song, everybody listens to it.
Yeah, that's like with my mother. My mother, if I pulled out a picture of Rod Stewart, she wouldn't know who the hell he was, but she loved Maggie May.
Yeah, it's a
Okay, yeah,
storyteller.
yeah,
Yeah,
sure. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Storytelling. Take that back. I got something to say to you. Mhm.
yeah. Even the new artists today, you have what's his name, Bruno Mars. He
Mhm.
has a lot of story. He's telling some
Yeah,
things and he's
yeah,
saying what he's going to do. And I got
yeah,
I'm a dangerous man with some money in my pocket. Come on.
yeah, yeah.
So he said, "Hey, I got to say, what he's saying? What's
Yeah,
going on with
yes.
this? What's going on with the little short dude? What's up?
Yes, you have to. Yeah,
Yeah, what's going on?
yeah. But that's definitely a type of music. Think about the bards of old, the epic poets and stuff that our people. We like that. We like the storytellers. We like the songs. You know, because they are stories set to music.
And that helps with crossover.
Yeah,
It's a crossover. It's like you get a song that just stays in your head. And
yeah,
whether you like the song or like the story that's being told or not, it just stays in your head.
yeah. Even something like, for instance, Little Red Corvette. That's talking about a relationship.
Well, what about Billie Jean? That's a storytelling,
Well,
isn't
that's
it?
true. Yeah, but it is a storyteller song. Yeah, yeah. You're telling a tale.
But when I
Telling a
first
story.
heard it, I was like, "What the hell's going on?
What are you talking about?
what are you talking about? Not your child, not your chair, or
Yeah,
not your child.
yeah. The chair is not my son. My
The
children
chair's
will
not.
not be chairs.
What the
My
hell?"
children will only be
And I
couches,
said, you know what I said to
not
I
chairs.
said to myself too, what if Michael
Mhm.
Jackson ain't got no children?
I'm sorry, he didn't say, he didn't say kid. I says he's saying chair. He's saying kid. But the
Yeah, I don't know what
kid
you're
is
even
not my
talking.
son.
And
What the
that's the
heck
point
are
where
you
you don't even.
saying?
And that's the thing. And that's at the point where you don't know what Michael Jackson be saying. Now, all the times that he been with the Jackson Five and up to the Off the Wall
Yeah,
album,
you know exactly
yeah,
what he was saying all the time.
it's like what the. And he come up with these sounds, these.
Yeah, other ridiculous nonsense. It's like, please
And he's
stop. You're
stealing.
embarrassing.
And then he's stealing for Soul Makusa.
Yeah, he should have ashamed himself.
Out of Soul
To the most
Makusa.
Musa. Yeah, it's
Yo,
so
man.
bad. He should be ashamed.
White people may not know what that is, but we know what that Soul
We know
Makusa.
what that is.
And see with that was a crossover coming from another direction. You
Soul
know,
Makusa.
yeah, because that was an early hip hop classic,
Oh, Soul
and
Makosa, yeah. Soul
yeah,
So
Makosa.
much for
and,
that. Da da
you know,
da 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 da
yeah,
da.
and
Onga
when
bongo, dingonga dongo,
you
ringtone
know,
Makosa.
Okay, now stop it.
you
That's
know,
what he said.
no, but when
Yeah.
we found out, we found out that it was what's his name? I forget his name that did the song. But when we found out it was him, an African, everybody's like, oh, you know, this
That
is
was Boss, man.
yeah,
Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
And,
Da-da-da-da-da.
and yeah,
yeah,
and
Or
that
or
was
the
a
song,
thing.
Bill Withers song. Keep on using me.
Yeah, that's
hmm
a good song.
He's saying that song.
Yeah, can
You
use
know,
me to
you
use me
take
up,
me in the front of high class people,
and
and
you
then
act
you act real rude to
to me.
me.
That's right.
He's singing a song. He's telling a
Yeah,
story. So what
yeah,
this
that's
guy
good.
saying? What that woman doing to you, Bill? That's messed up.
Yeah, but you said, brother, if you only knew, you wish you were in my shoes. You trying to tell me, you know,
Yeah, that's
to
good. I mean,
try to walk on me.
that's good
What else?
stuff.
Yeah, but
N-
say, no, man.
Never sold out though.
Use
He
me. I
ain't saying.
can't get
He ain't
enough.
saying. Can you imagine? Can you imagine Bill Withers singing Diana?
Oh
no,
no, I don't think
no,
so.
no, he better not if he's
Yeah,
singing
I
that.
don't.
Soulful, man. Soulful to the end. Soulful to the end.
But it's just kind of like I'm singing these songs, la 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 songs. But are you singing a song that other people can listen to and they can identify with them? So I'm like, I know exactly what you mean. I'm dating this guy. He's so terrible. Everybody else they look and they shake their heads. So they just don't know. He's laying it down. So I'm just, gonna stay in as long as I can until. Because then he say like at the end, it say using me. I'm sure enough using you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, it's going both ways. So that's the thing. I thought it's so good about the song. You go all the way through, and it's a story.
Mm-hmm. Ain't no sunshine where she gone.
Yeah,
You know
yeah,
that.
yeah. These lovely.
It's
So
a
I think those
song.
things, and I think that's
Mm-hmm.
why those things, certain performers, that may be the linchpin of the crossover, that they sing something that everyone can identify with, and so it
And
becomes
the
phenomenal.
thing,
It is,
and
and they
Penelope,
deliver.
the thing with Bill Withers, I remember seeing an interview with him on Soul TV, which was on
Mhm.
PBS in New York.
Right?
And he was saying he's not into all that dressing up and leotards and he called leotards and all that flashy. He just I just want to sing my I get a guitar, I sing my song. I'm not into all
That's
that
cool.
other extra stuff like
That's
that.
cool
So
though.
he's not ready for he's not ready for TV. So you don't see him on television shows.
A lot. He's in like
Yeah.
black, performance shows that they have,
Yeah,
and
he's
the
stripping
interview
it bare.
shows.
He's
Yeah.
stripping it bare. He's not trying to,
Well, you might see more of him on video again overseas.
Hmm.
Okay, because nothing for nothing. If you want to see somebody that played during the bebop era,
Yeah.
9 times out of 10 they did a show overseas for European TV, and it's still in their archives. You know.
oh, all the time. I see the Coltrane overseas and what is it, Norway and all those other countries like that, and Paris, Miles Davis, all those guys
Yeah.
overseas concerts and stuff, and
hmm
they're really boss. But we don't even right now we don't appreciate the art that we produce that remained in our in our culture, did not quote unquote try to cross over,
Yeah. Well,
like
yeah. This is what.
jazz,
Yeah.
jazz, gospel.
Yeah. Exactly. This is what I was saying before. It's a certain part of our community, whether they have the funds or not, that just don't support our own people when it comes to music. You know.
Yeah, I mean
It,
I went to the Village Vanguard, several years ago, and it was me, my sister, my brother. We were only black people in the audience.
uh, and
So
then
how does that how what I mean? That's not supporting. What are people supposed to do? They got to make a living. I don't know what else
yeah,
they're supposed to.
the early 2000s, it was a big deal controversy in jazz because people would start saying, "Well, why are we seeing more white jazz musicians than black jazz musicians?" You know, and so we kind of had to, black folk and jazz had to kind of I hate to say the word, but take it back. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
but you got Marcellus at Lincoln, doing his thing, right?
Yeah, he's getting ready to retire.
He get ready to retire. So who's going to take his place?
I don't know.
And
And
so
my and mind you, he didn't do us any justice because he has this habit of criticizing other people in jazz, which I don't think is
yeah, he
proper.
did a little. He did. Yeah, he tried to do too much. He needed to sit down. He did too much.
Yeah, so
But
yeah, and then yeah, yeah,
it's better than nothing. But the thing is that I understand that people have to eat. I know, like Penelope said, people get their money through concerts, and if your bookings are sparse, it's like, what are you going to do? I mean, you look at that Earth, Wind, and Fire. Was that the Kennedy Center? Where was that, Penelope? You remember? I forgot where it was. But anyway, the people in the audience were mostly white people.
yeah,
It
yeah,
was smattering of black people, mostly white people.
That was the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Right. It's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
yeah.
And
A lot of people didn't, some people didn't even recognize them until they started playing some of their songs.
some of the old stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like maybe like James said, it's like we support groups up until a point and then we just move we just move on.
Yeah, unfortunately, that's how it is. That's why um, their rhythm guitarist from Earth, Wind and Fire, Johnny Graham, he said to hell with this, and he's been living in Japan doing his thing for the last 20 years. You know,
Yeah. I mean,
you know.
just the support is in there. But you got the Rolling Stones, they're like 88 years old. They're still going on concert, right? And they're
Yeah,
still making their money.
yeah, still making their money, and a lot of people don't know it, but they've done things, positive things for the black community.
Well, they
They,
stole a lot
They,
too.
yeah, they
they never
stole out.
hid that they were influenced by the black community. Them and the Beatles, they never hid it.
Yeah,
Right.
they admit it. They admit it. But a lot of times you admit it, and the people who are your fans and the people who promote you are tone deaf. They're
Yeah.
not listening. So
Yeah.
they kept saying the Beatles and the Rolling Stones kept saying, well, the Isley Brothers, the Isley Brothers this, and Otis Redding this, and all
Yeah.
that stuff. Is that yeah, that's good. Just keep on playing what you're playing. That sounds
Yeah, a lot of
Yeah,
people
back.
don't.
I
A
was gonna
lot of
say,
people.
go
Yeah,
ahead.
go ahead.
No, I was gonna say back when Kanye was still on his meds, he even admitted, the Beatles influenced me because they remembered who they were influenced by. To the point where when he had him on had Paul McCartney join him on one of the awards show, people were all like, "Oh, look at Kanye! He's so nice to that old man," and
oh man.
realize, not realize, made man must have made his dreams come true. And I'm like, that's Sir Paul McCartney, who
Sir
Yeah,
Paul
admitted
McCartney.
that people like Chuck Berry were his influences.
Yeah, and when I was a kid and I was growing up and I was like a teenager and all our stuff was coming out like Parliament Funkadelic and all that. When I first heard Chuck Berry stuff, and I know, you know, the 50s are not my favorite span of music, but when I heard Chuck Berry stuff, man, that was some badass. That was a badass boy, man. That was a badass boy. I don't think he get enough appreciation.
no, he doesn't. I would say if you can get a hold of the documentary Newport Jazz Festival, yeah, see his performance there. And a lot of people also don't know that the Beatles, the first record company to bring their music over to America, was a black company from Chicago.
Mm.
You know, so it's and again, you have some accidental or incidental crossover. You know,
And intentional. You can't tell me that Lionel Richie and Kool and the Gang and Michael Jackson and who else was it? Some even Diana Ross. Diana Ross, right?
Well,
Not the Supremes, but Diana Ross are
yeah,
intentional
yeah.
quote. And Quincy Jones with his shit too.
Well, Quincy,
Quincy
Quincy,
just played music that and followed wherever the music took him.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I give him that because he did all sorts of things.
yeah,
But like people don't even realize that the Pointer Sisters started out as a country band.
Yeah,
yeah,
they did. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Speaking of Paul McCartney, I got a question for everybody. There's a song that me and Penelope were talking about yesterday. Explain this song to me. Someone's knocking at the door. Someone's ringing a bell. Someone's knocking at the door. Someone's ringing a bell. Do me a favor. Answer the door and let them in. Why's that song?
Okay,
Why's that song?
do them a
Someone
favor. Do them a favor. And
open the door and let them in. Are you? Why is? Can that be like the dumbest song ever?
no,
That's
come on.
the influence.
Every day people say, could you open the door, let them in? Come on.
Someone
Live
knocking at the door.
dangerously for once.
Somebody ringing a bell.
Yeah.
Do me a favor. Answer the door and let them in.
That would be the influence of certain substances.
Yeah.
I can't move because I'm a little busy,
Do me a favor.
or I
Answer the
can't find
door.
the floor to get up.
Or
Oh.
it could be that he was supposed to come out with 12 songs for an album. And he's like, damn, I've run out. I'm writer's block. I've run out of ideas. What can I do? And then he
That
heard
was on Wings Over America. Let me see what else was on that song. 76.
Somebody knocking at the door. Somebody
What else
ringing
was
the
on that
bell.
album? Wow, there was
Do me a favor. Do me a favor. Go answer the door and let him in.
there were 16 songs on that album. Oh, it also had Yesterday, and Long and Winding Road. So no, you can't really. And Live and Let Die was on it too. So I think it was a
I
best
don't live
of
and let die,
album.
but I don't live and let die. Those are fine songs,
Yeah, that's what I
but
said. I was
somebody
going to
knocking
say
at the
maybe.
door and ringing the bell. Yeah,
yeah, that's what you call a filler song. When a person is recording an album, that song usually ends up on side two or side B.
B side.
Yeah, the third or fourth cut before the end of the album or something like that.
The,
Yeah, that's
the people today know what B side is anymore.
no,
No,
no. I mean,
I've mentioned it several times and get dumb stares.
I say,
I
okay,
mean,
boomer. Okay, boomer.
even the way if say like you get a CD of somebody right now, right? I'm just using CD for argument's sake. It's usually like maybe between 1 and 14 or 16 cuts on there. Now you and I both know back in the day that would be a double album.
Yeah, that's a
Now
lot.
that's
Yeah.
a single album.
It was a triple.
Yeah, but
Wings Over America was a triple album. It was a tour album thing.
but
So
even
there's
albums,
28 songs on it.
even albums had B sides, and remember,
Yep.
you would
Yeah,
get a record, you
yeah,
would get a record or album, and you would have, man, this is on a B side, but this crap is good, and so
yeah.
it'd be like a surprise song, right?
That's yeah,
There are no surprise songs anymore. Like like damn, I discovered this.
yeah.
This is bad as hell. This is good.
Yeah, remember back in the day with Earth, Wind and Fire. Usually the B side or side two, they would have an instrumental like Africano or
Yeah, yeah,
Mayo or
yeah, yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yeah,
That would technically be like a filler song, but that was a song where they jamming. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying? They jam it. They like, okay, we're not gonna write who's knocking on my door. They're gonna write something, they're gonna jam.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what
And
I'm saying?
that be the thing that everybody be playing. And like you discovered this, you feel like you discovered this, you flipped it over to the B side. They said, man, y'all listen to that A side. Y'all don't know what y'all doing. The B side is where it's at. So I'm playing the B side. There's no discoveries like that anymore. People don't have that enjoyment of discovering something that everyone else may not be listening to, right?
Nah, nobody.
It goes away. It goes away because the way that the music industry is right now,
Yeah. I
I mean,
mean,
it's all crossover now.
pretty much, pretty much. I
That
mean,
bridge, I mean, that bridge to the so-called black community is completely eroded or gone. You know, it used to be even hip hop and rap music used to be an exclusive kind of black culture kind of music.
yeah. Now
It left that behind. That's
it's
gone.
it's not even a bridge anymore. It's a 3 lane, 4 lane highway.
What
Okay,
is a highway? No, sorry.
thank
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's going in, it's going out, right?
you. Yeah,
I mean, you got people who don't. I mean, let's look at it this way: in Bedford Stuyvesant on a schoolyard, okay, and you got somebody doing a turntable, setting up a turntable, and doing their, they're spinning their albums. They got their crates. They got a couple of
right,
crates of
right,
albums.
right, right.
They're spinning their stuff. They're doing their thing. Everybody dancing. Nobody look. The DJ did not look like Vanilla Ice. No, it did not. It didn't look like Eminem. Nobody
It,
looked like that.
I was perusing through the New York Times the other day, a while back, I guess, not the other day, but they showed the DJ and was looked like a young Asian or Indian girl
Ah,
DJ.
it's incredible, incredible.
Yeah, it's incredible.
I would never know. I would never imagine that. I would never imagine that. But we thought coming up when we saw that it was exclusive, and to be honest, we wanted it to stay that way.
Yeah.
We didn't want it because it kind of young, but still knew that once it passed a certain number of people knowing what you're doing and listening to it would become corrupted, and we were not wrong.
Well, I think we were going through that already because disco was showing us how bad crossover could be. Like you said, anytime you had Ethel Merman,
I don't remember. I remember dance disco Lucy.
yeah, that's oh my god, that's what killed it for me. I was like, oh no. Anytime, anytime you're listening to music your parents listen to, like that,
Right.
yeah, and I must confess, I have in my crates somewhere. I have
You got Ethel Merman singing disco.
no, I got a theme from Star Wars disco style.
Oh my god.
I have the theme. Remember the old show In Search of with
Yeah, Leonard Nimoy.
yeah, I had the disco version of that.
Oh my god.
I have a disco version of the Bob Newhart show.
Oh, oh no. I don't know what that sound like, man. What does it sound like?
Oh, da, 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 da,
Come
da,
on, man.
da,
That's wrong. That's
da.
just wrong.
I,
That's just wrong. That's wrong.
oh God, I
I
don't know
mean,
what I was thinking.
a lot of people also don't know that a lot of disco is garbage. Like that stuff like Ethel Merman and Disco Duck and all that stuff like that.
Oh my
But
God.
a lot of disco stuff is like top line music. Like they missing Grace Jones stuff that she did. They're
Mm,
missing Chic. They're missing um what is the stuff that what's his name from the Talking Heads, his group, who did the
They're not. They're not
Genius
missing
of
it. They
Love.
call it dance music now.
They call it dance music now.
Yeah,
it's back to that now because
yeah.
I remember the early '80s. You had switched from disco to dance music. So I guess
Yeah.
everything
But
old.
people hated it because you remember in Chicago they had a fire where they got all the disco records and bring your
Yeah,
disco records and burn them.
yeah,
Remember that?
yeah. Disco demolition night, and they ended up
Yeah.
burning the
I said,
outfield
didn't you ask yourself why did people hate this music so much?
because those were like early fanboys and their thing. And by that time, radio had become so segregated it wasn't even funny. Okay, and those fans that night they think, and they in fact now, you know, that "Stairway to Heaven" by Led Zeppelin is the greatest song ever made, ever recorded. Okay, because they used to play that shit to death. Okay, And mind you, certain things I like with Led Zeppelin, but that's not one of them. Please stop, stop.
Well, that was the thing. It was that, and it was Leonard Skinner. Remember that?
Yeah.
Leonard Skinner. He didn't try to cross over.
Well, Leonard Skinner, they got a funny history because Sweet Home Alabama, right? That's their
Yeah.
hit. Was actually a answer to Neil Young's song Southern Man because they didn't like how Neil Young sang about racism.
Oh,
So
really? I didn't know
yeah,
that. Okay.
yeah. So they
So what did
decided
Neil Young say about race? What did he say?
he was, from what I remember, the song was just about. It told a story, if my memory corrects me, of like racism in the South, and I think he mentioned something about lynching, and a lot of people in the South didn't care for it,
So
especially.
boys from Jacksonville, Florida wrote a song about Alabama.
Oh,
Never been to Alabama. I don't think they ever performed in Alabama. They're from Jacksonville.
and they wrote that song in an answer song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds pretty cool, but I had no idea the backstory behind it.
How's that for a crossover?
Yeah, how about that? Yeah, but how about some of the John Denver stuff? I like some of the John Denver stuff, and I feel like I
Again,
shouldn't. I feel like I
storytelling.
shouldn't. Yeah, but
But
I
it's
feel like
storytelling.
I shouldn't like the John Denver stuff.
No, listen, whatever floats your boat. I mean, I have a soft spot for Willie Nelson's On the Road Again. You know,
Yeah, but I
so
don't see him as being as racist as some of the other
no,
countries.
he's
Every time I hear country music, I feel racism.
well. I mean,
That's because they forgot their roots too.
yeah, and I mean now country is a lot different from back in the day when you had people that were like racists like Buck Owens and whatnot. It's more diverse, even though a segment of country doesn't like the diversity. That's it's the same thing like with the regular music business. Um, yeah. So things cross over. Again, whether intentionally, by accident, incidental.
But it always seems like we're the ones running over. It don't seem like you're gonna get people from the other side running over to us, except for Madonna, who everyone in New York thought was a Puerto Rican, right? And then kept singing, singing. Then everybody saw her, or that she's not Puerto Rican, she's white.
Mhm.
But by that time she had already quote unquote kind of crossed over. So
Yeah.
I feel like she used the black and the Puerto Rican community to step on to get herself going.
Well, but you gotta remember, she was also into a new wave thing. I remember being in the Ritz one night with my cousin, and it was Madonna and it was the System. You know, and the
Yeah,
System came on and did their thing, and then Madonna came on and did her thing, and my cousin was like, "Which one of them you think is gonna make money and do good, in the future and whatnot?" I said, "I think the System.
I would have
They
said the
got,
same thing. I like the system.
yeah."
Yeah.
I told him, I said, "That Madonna chick, I don't think,
Yeah.
Thank
no."
God you didn't put no money on it. You
I
would have
know.
you put no money
Well,
on it.
and I also have to think about some of that. The system was problematic in my mind, because I saw like people like Robert Palmer, like covering their songs.
Yeah, that's the thing about the crossover thing. It's like I was saying before. Do you cross over? Or do you stay until they steal your shit?
Yeah,
It's
and that's problematic. When you are coming out, you're doing your thing, you have a niche, and then somebody else gets your song who may have a little bit more exposure than you, and then people start to associate your song with that person or their band or their group.
Yeah. I mean, when you hear when you hear Earth, Wind, and Fire's After the Love Is Gone, do you think as soon as you hear it, do you think of Earth, Wind, and Fire, or do you think what's the guy's name, Billy Champion? I think it's
Okay, I don't even know who that
I
is.
don't honestly. I'm not. You know what? I'm an Earth, Wind, and Fire fan. I'm not like you and Nikki super fans. So
Hmm.
when I hear that, I feel like that's a mellow Earth, Wind, and Fire song. It
I
sounds
have to
like
admit,
Earth,
I
Wind,
do
and
not know Billy Champion or his version of that song, so it's only Earth, Wind, and Fire for me.
yeah, it sounds like Earth, Wind, and Fire to me. It's
Only
just
them for me.
yeah,
y'all
that's
correct us. Y'all correct us.
that's like with GQ. I would sit up there in the rehearsal studio, listening to them do sitting in the park, and gosh darn it, I
Hmm.
didn't know that Billy Stewart did it before them back in the '60s.
Oh yeah, yeah. People miss that. My brother thought Boys to Men was singing. What's that song they sang? They're famous for.
End of the
That
road.
song.
It's
Yeah, I
hard to say
think.
goodbye to yesterday.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh,
Cooley
He's
High.
thinking that's a
They
new song.
thought,
That dude, yeah, that dude, that's an old song, man.
yeah, it's a remake
For a lot of people hearing
of
stuff for
another
the
song.
first time, yeah.
Yeah, there's a gentleman on YouTube that had all his whole thing is showing where songs originally started.
Hmm.
Oh,
And
different
I mean,
generation.
Penelope and I watched the YouTube video where they had these. I guess what generation they call these kids now who are like 20 years old. What is the Alpha
Z.
Z?
See,
Yeah,
And they
yeah,
were
Alpha just got born.
okay. Alpha's not born. Okay, so Z.
No, they're
So
just being born now.
just being born. Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Oh my God, yeah, no,
yeah.
Alpha.
Yeah, so we start back from scratch, I guess. But they were uh, first exposed to Bruce Hornsby in the range, the way it is,
hmm,
and the thing that they came up with that they heard the Tupac version,
hmm,
right?
Right.
The sampling of
right.
that song, and they said they had never ever heard Bruce Hornsby in the
The
range,
actual song,
and they were like, "Oh
like
my
it's
God, I
a
can't believe
classic.
I haven't." Yeah,
The song's a
and
classic.
I'm thinking, "Oh my God, I can't believe they haven't heard this."
Yeah,
And
it,
I'm thinking in the times that we live in right now, they haven't heard this, right?
yeah. How insane is that?
Yeah, and and Penelope, you were playing a song in the car yesterday, "Small Town Boy."
Yeah,
How many people haven't heard that? And
I don't know.
how appropriate is that for today?
Bronski beat did the song. I mean, some people may not know that Bronski beat did that song.
Listen, I got one for you. Ball of
Hmm.
Confusion by the Temptations.
Yeah, I remember that song when I was
Yeah,
growing up.
Hmm. It's
how many
like
people? I mean, we
it's
got to
like we
dust off our
circled.
oldies,
Yeah, we circled right
Hmm.
back to that song.
right?
Yeah, no joke.
Or Stevie Wonder, you haven't done nothing.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can see it.
Teddy Pendergrass, bad luck. Today I sat down on my living room floor, got me a newspaper, open it up, open it up, open it up, open it
Put
up.
it up.
President of the United States.
Yeah, there you go.
He ain't doing nothing, y'all.
Hmm.
He brought us bad luck. Bad luck.
Yeah, there you go.
Blow the
Open it
dust
up.
off your old open it up, open it
Open
up.
it up. Open it
Hmm.
up.
Come on, man. We gotta blow off the dust off some of our old stuff, man.
Yeah, yeah.
God. That's kind of like what's that group that backed up Elvis, the Jordanaires? All you heard from them was bop wada, bop wada, bop
Hmm.
That's
wada.
like the old Richard Pryor show where he had just the Pips on there.
Hmm.
And then they
Yeah,
had Blast
yeah,
Night.
yeah. Just the Pips. That was cute.
Leaving, leaving. I know you will.
Yeah. Woo!
Woo-hoo.
That was very cute.
Oh
That
my.
was very cute.
Oh, but yeah, it crossover, and then people covering songs.
Hmm.
Yeah, it can get kind of tricky.
It's all
Yeah.
mixed up now, but to me, growing up, when I saw the people cross over, to me it was hurtful because like not hurtful, but in a way, it's like, man, that's pure selling out. It's like basically, especially the Lionel Richie thing, because he seemed to go Michael Jackson and Lionel Richie seemed to go way
Mhm.
beyond the norm
Yep.
of
Yeah,
like Cool and the Gang. Cool and the Gang obviously went after a money grab,
Mm-hmm.
but Michael Jackson not only did go after a money grab, but his lifestyle changed and everything else.
Yeah.
And the same thing with Lionel Richie, like he got associated with Nicole Richie and the Kardashians and all that stuff. It's like,
Yeah.
oh
I
my
saw
oh,
that.
god.
and I think the most embarrassing crossover incident was Diana Ross and the Supremes. They come on TV and they debuting their new song "Up the Ladder to the Roof," and she just started, "Oh well, this is the last song I'm doing with the Supremes and
So
whatnot."
you gonna tell me what? What? Whoa, whoa,
Yeah, I was like, really? Even as
And
I mean,
the black community did not like that.
no,
Mm-mm-mm.
didn't.
They did not like that. And then you got the nerve to go up and show up in a movie called The Wiz when you taking Stephanie Mills' place.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my.
yeah. See, you hit the nail on the head. A lot of people seem to forget that during the '70s, the black community
Mm-hmm.
kind of had it in for Diana Ross.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of had it, and yeah, she hit with Mahogany. A lot of people like
Mm-hmm.
Mahogany, but no, it just seemed like she,
Yeah. That she was
She
really all
basically told
about.
black she basically told black people she didn't need them. And then I
Mm-hmm.
think that she tried to reinvent herself like Cher and go after the
Yeah.
audience of the gay community, especially
yeah,
gay white men.
yeah,
With
Yeah.
I'm coming out and
Mm-hmm.
and and a lot of other stuff and the concert she gave in Central Park that
hmm
nobody in their right mind would have gone to.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like the first one was rained out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then she did a second one, and I think there was a problem with that one. But it's like she basically told the black community to kiss her ass.
and let me tell you a quick story with that. I have a friend of mine. She used to work in hospitality in New Jersey at the casinos, and Diana Ross was doing a show in the hotel she worked in, and they were ordered that Diana Ross is going to cut through the service entrance. They said their bosses told them not to look at her,
Wow.
not to look at her at all. Look anywhere you want, but don't look at her when she walks by because she has a fit about that.
I said, then don't come in here.
Well,
Cause I'm
remember
working.
Prince
hmm
had that thing too. He had something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Remember he went to the Grammys and he said
Yeah.
that people couldn't look at him. It's like, what's wrong with you, man?
So you know what? It's a free country. You'll be looked at, then put on a what you
He was
call it?
sick. He was sick his bodyguards on people that
Shield.
looked at him.
Shield yourself.
He was sick his bodyguards on people that looked at him.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, people, what's going on with you?
It,
It's
it,
like you distance yourself from the community, man.
yeah.
And that's why, Tracy Ellis Ross, I think that's
Mm-hmm.
hmm
why she had such a hard time of it. But she's proved herself to me, at least,
Mm-hmm.
to be so different than her mother, who
You know
Yeah.
basically
what?
told
Yeah,
black people to kiss her ass.
yeah. I think you're right. I think that when she started to get in the business with acting, people were like,
Mm-hmm.
"Who? That's your mother? Nah, no."
Yeah. Diana
And
Ross
then
burned so many bridges.
and then on top of that, when Tracy Ellis Ross was doing her thing, making her move, it's almost to me like her mother could not stand it.
That she was accepted by the black community, and she never was, because she burned her bridges, and
Uh
she was angry
huh.
that her daughter was accepted by the black community,
Embraced by that community.
embraced by
I
the
mean,
black community. Yeah.
and so yes, and don't even think about like the time that she did the I can't remember what it was that Tracy Ellis Ross was the MC, and then Diana Ross came at the end to sing something or other, and then to sing. I mean, basically, she came in to try to take over the damn show. Her and the other daughter come. They said, "Oh, doing these things, saying all this stuff about
You
her
know what
mom."
that
Said,
just showed you? She's still the same. She ain't changed.
mm-hmm,
She
she
ain't
changed.
changed. She ain't changed at all. I thought she had changed a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
but she did a very good acting job. I think it was a woman who was going through some
Yeah,
mental
she did a
challenges.
very good job on that. Just a
I
Tommy
thought
Lee
she did a
film.
fantastic job, but she hasn't changed at all. She's still the same
Mm-hmm.
person, you
She
know.
has to be it's at the bell of the ball. You dance on every
Well, that's
set.
that thing that Prince did. That's what turned me off to him a lot too.
Hmm.
That "don't look at me" thing. And so, to find out that he, changed a little bit in his life. That he used to play, basketball with the brothers and all that kind of
Hmm.
stuff. That was a surprise to me because he seemed like a pure asshole to me.
Yeah, I think also he's trying to affect, a persona that may not have been his actual persona, but trying to create,
Or he
you
trying to
know,
create it. And what he did to
yeah.
black women, stuff he did to a lot of black women, and the
Hmm.
songs and stuff he wrote and stuff. It's like, nah, man.
And you could contribute a lot of that to nerves too, because from what I understand, if you ever see the first time he appeared on American Bandstand
Hmm.
and he's not talking and whatnot, yeah, he
Hmm.
he
But
admitted later.
people have been used to being studio musicians. That is a lot to,
Right,
you
right.
know,
There you go. Yeah,
be
because
out there.
he admitted years later that that had to be one of the most nervous situations he was ever in. And I think you're right. All that time in the studio, you
Yeah.
come out.
Yeah, you're nice and shielded and you
What
stop
what
and go whenever
well,
you
what do y'all
want to,
what do y'all think about the movie Purple Rain? You think that was Prince's attempt to cross over?
No, I think it's
No,
Prince's attempt to become an actor, and it was not good.
yeah, yeah. I that movie saves him because it doesn't really give him a lot. If you notice it, a lot to dialogue, so to speak.
Hmm.
Yeah, because as an actor, he's better as a house painter.
Yeah, he's in over his head.
Yeah.
So
In over his head. He
yeah,
cannot
I
over.
tell
act.
you, man, I did not go see that movie. I still haven't seen it. I'm like, why am I going to see this movie with this dude in it? I just not.
Yeah, yeah. He just, yeah, I think that was not his. If he had to be honest with himself, and you see that thing, he still tried to do that under the cherry moon thing.
Yeah.
But
Oh, it's even
again,
worse. It's
worse,
even worse.
worse. I didn't see all of
But
it.
the Purple Rain album,
Mm-hmm.
the Purple Rain album is a classic album.
You
Yep.
you have to admit that.
You got to
Yeah.
admit it.
Yeah, I mean that album was a game changer.
It
Yep.
sure was.
It, it,
Absolutely.
it was a game changer. Um, Everything fit right. Everything was perfect on that album.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
So
You
he
you,
did a good
you
job on it.
He
yeah.
did it. He did it. I mean, he did it with the album. But then he come out with the Raspberry Parade,
Professor Beret. It's like, are you nuts?
the kind you find in the secondhand
Second hand
store.
store. Yeah,
Well,
I can't.
you know what it was with that album. Okay, at that time, people were going through a neo psychedelic phase.
Yeah, I recall.
Yeah, you had people going through a neo psychedelic phase. So he jumped on that train
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot. And I personally, I don't have a problem with the album. In fact, I definitely, I love.
You don't have a problem with Raspberry Beret?
No,
Wow. I got
don't,
a
don't,
problem.
don't.
I got a problem with it. I have a problem with Tom Jones saying kiss.
What? Tom Jones. Yeah, I
You
was
remember
like,
that, Penelope?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
He even did a video. Remember Tom Jones did that video?
yeah. Listen, I
So I
remember.
was muted. I said number one. I'm sorry you play. I love Tom Jones' version of Kiss.
It was,
I loved it. With
it
the Art of
was,
Noise. Are you kidding me?
it,
I loved it.
it was okay. It's
I
okay.
loved it.
I guess I was just used to the old Tom Jones show where he used to.
It's not
Yeah.
unusual. Well, that's another. He got a lot of play on black radio station. It's
Hmm.
not
Yeah,
unusual world to see you cry. I want to
Yeah.
die.
Yeah.
and just a little bit of trivia. Anytime you see that old Tom Jones show and you see he's dancing and you see the
Hmm.
orchestra in the background,
Uh-huh.
those are cutouts.
Oh, they're not real
Really?
people.
Those are not real people.
I gotta look at
Oh
that right
man,
away.
wow. Were they trying to be cheap, or what was going on, man?
I don't know. Maybe 1 minute they had they 1 minute they had the orchestra. Next minute they like, okay, this costs too much. We'll just tape them and get get the
I'm
prop guy.
I mean, I was a kid, we were all kids watching the Tom Jones show, and I think we were just watching it. I'm not
Yeah.
sure that we actually were enjoying it or anything.
Yeah. Well, you don't not like you have a choice.
Well, I had a
You gotta
choice
watch.
because,
No,
well,
you
yeah,
gotta
they pretty
watch what
much,
they tell
yeah,
you to watch. You don't get to
yeah, basically,
choose
yeah.
it.
My mother would say, turn the TV on, and don't you touch that television.
That's right. You don't get to touch the TV. Are you crazy, kid?
The Tom Jones show. Whoa, whoa.
Uh-huh. If you want to sit in the room with your family and that's what's on the TV, that's what you're gonna watch. That's the end of that.
Yeah,
I hope
yeah,
this shit goes off quick.
yeah. I think
Please.
a lot of stuff I watched back then was like, okay, the TV's on. I can't really touch it.
Mm-mm.
Okay. I listen, I don't know one time I tried to change from Gunsmoke and my father stared me back to third base.
Oh
No
yeah.
joke, man.
No, you don't touch the TV. Listen, I remember the lightning struck the Empire State Building. I told Penelope
Mm-hmm.
this. Lightning struck the Empire State Building, and all the TVs all over the city of New York were out. And I got blamed for breaking our television. And I was so happy to hear, like, in the Daily News, the next, lightning strikes antenna or Empire State Building, all television reception lost. I said, see, I didn't do
Aha.
it.
So,
It
yeah,
wasn't
it
me at
wasn't
all. It was
me.
God.
Yeah, it wasn't me at all. Isn't that something? You got blamed.
I got blamed for it. I had to go to bed and blamed for it. And I ain't do nothing.
Yes, you did.
I said, yeah. I told you stop flipping the channels
And
so
then I
hard
said to
like
myself,
that.
maybe I did do something. Man, like flipping through the channels too fast because, going from channel 2 to channel 11, that blip.
Yeah, you did it. See, if you hadn't done it, you wouldn't have that problem, but you
Yeah,
did
I'm
it.
turning that. I'm turning that knob fast, man. That's
Well, there you
Mhm.
go. You disrupted the
Right.
Empire
something.
State
The
Building.
entire New York City
New York
television
City.
broadcast. The
Yeah,
entire thanks,
it was King
Otto.
Kong. It was
Thank
nothing me.
you.
It was King Kong.
You did it. You did it. You.
But
You.
no, that's I think Tom Jones kind of crossed over into black spaces, don't you think?
Oh yeah,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
yeah. I'm quite sure during that time, in somebody's house somewhere, their parents had
Tom
a
Jones album.
It's
oh
something.
yeah, maybe
Yeah.
even that Tom
An
Jones
album
album.
or a record or something. Yeah.
Yeah,
I remember the time. I remember clearly as a little girl being at my grandmother's house and them talking about Tom Jones and his show and Wilson Pickett being on the show. Remember that?
Wilson Pickett.
Wilson Pickett was on Tom Jones show.
I don't
Well,
remember that. No.
I would love to see that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and see, wow, now that you mention it, I haven't viewed it on YouTube, but I came across a video of Al Green and Chicago together.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah,
Oh, I would like to see that.
yeah,
Yeah,
Al
I just
Green.
did the thing. I did the Tom Jones Wilson Pickett, and it does have a YouTube link for it. I
Okay,
posted for you all. Those of you all who are interested, that this is a thing that happened.
yeah, that's like there's a song Aretha Franklin did in the early '70s.
Mm-hmm.
It's on the Atlantic label. Well, might have been before '71, but Dwayne Allman of the Allman Brothers plays guitar
Mm-hmm.
on this song that she did.
Huh.
Why?
Just
Why? They always? Somebody explain this to me. I mean, if you can. Why do I get an impression that the Allman Brothers were racist or like country music racist?
Because they did so much. I don't know. I can't say.
I just
I
get an impression. I don't know where it comes from. I
Because the
just
way they looked, their hair and stuff, I
yeah,
guess.
no, I don't know. Is that it?
Um,
They did a
Yeah,
lot of country music. Did they do a lot
No,
of country music?
no, they didn't.
no.
They didn't do country. And I mean, when you look at it, their drummer was black and their bass player was black.
Yeah,
Hmm.
You know, what's it? Johnny Jamo Johnson, I think, was their drummer. And
yeah,
Okay.
and so, but again, like you said, the way they looked,
Yeah.
maybe.
you know,
Maybe they
that
had that country music look to them. You know.
But you know what? I remember that Nikki should tell you back in the day. She liked the Allman Brothers.
Yeah.
She liked the Allman Brothers.
Yeah, I
I
like the Allman Brothers. They were cool.
I
Hmm.
think one of the best fusion jazz albums of all time was by this group Sea Level, and Sea Level was basically the Allman Brothers. They had left Greg Allman because he was all strung out
Hmm.
and causing problems. So Dickie Betts, and again the black drummer and bass player and the keyboardist, they split and came out with this album Sea Level. And I think
Wow.
it's sort of the best fusion jazz I've
Huh.
ever heard. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Neither. I'll try to find it and listen to it.
Then you have that strange song on, what is it, the Rolling Stones Beggars Banquet, where it's a song on side two, and it features Blue Magic.
Really?
Oh, really? Blue Magic.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah.
That's something I've never heard of in my life.
I was totally blown away.
Uh huh.
I was like, Blue Magic of all people, but no,
Wow. Yeah.
they were the Rolling Stones were doing something in the studio at Coast Studios, and it just so happened Blue Magic was in the next studio recording, and Mick Jagger came by, was walking by. It's like, oh shit, who's that?
Hmm.
And
And
he,
Blue Magic is, well, Blue Magic, one of those groups. I mean, they didn't get to crossover, so they died. So you got a
Okay.
lot of
So they
really.
died.
No, really. I mean,
oh yeah, yeah,
figuratively
figuratively, yeah,
speaking,
career
Wow.
they're
wise,
Yeah.
yeah. So they died. So you get a lot of good
And
music
they
like
died
that.
out.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that it's like, do they wish?
Yeah.
Maybe they wish they would have done.
Maybe. And if they had, would you have thought that it was inappropriate because you would never have known that if they didn't, that they would have died out. You know what I mean? So do you look at
Yeah.
somebody like Michael Jackson and those people that did cross over and say, well, if they had not, maybe they would have died out if they hadn't. No, we don't know the answer.
Do you think that if Michael Jackson had kept up with his like off the wall album in that trajectory instead of going in a different direction, because he has so much, in the black community with the Jackson Five and the Jacksons, right?
Okay, you
That
got
he,
1 minute. We have 1 minute for the less than a minute. Go ahead. So finish
well,
the question.
do you think that he would have been as successful as he was with he did Thriller?
I think he might have been, but just would have taken maybe a little longer. But I think he would have been.
no, I think it was a psychological thing with him.
Mm-hmm.
He just didn't like his past, and he
Mm-hmm.
just wanted to
Separate
pass,
himself from. Yeah. Yeah.
pass.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much. We're like down to the last minute. We really appreciate those who have listened, those who are here who have been contributing to the conversation. We will be back again next week here in the Other Hood. Hope you have a wonderful day in your Other Hood. See you. Take care of yourselves and goodbye.
Bye bye.